I feel like I should start all my videos like that. Hello, hi, my name is Jess Marie. Welcome to yesterday's Coffee Grounds, where I typically talk of things that I got going on in my life. And we're in a new location. I actually am loving this. This is our new, what I call 70s porn couch. Look at this curve. This is like, the seat itself is probably two feet. So like you got a lot of space. And then there's whatever this is, like half a foot, and then 9 feet wide, length. Yeah. So I'm loving it. We haven't had a couch since we lived here. It's been 7 months. I was anti-couch. I just thought TV, couch, I don't want them. That's just so typical of people to have in their living room. I wanted something else when we walked into the room, but here we are having this beautiful couch, and I am not complaining. I love her. She is nice. She is a little bit, she could get reupholstered, but you know what? We like character, just like my bangs, like whatever's going on here with this bowl. Like this is a mess, but I do my own hair. It'll grow. Hair will grow. It's fine. It's okay. It's not touching my eyes. We're good. Okay. So now that that's all out of the way, something happened to me today, and it really got me thinking in a way that I usually don't think like this, but I think as I'm getting older, I'm processing things in a much different perspective. So I'm driving and I'm going downtown with my son to pick up shampoo, and we get to a stop sign and there's car, bike, car, and then I look one way, look the other way, and just when I think I'm okay to go, a bike comes out of nowhere. So I stop like halfway through the crosswalk that's there, and I was like, oh, and I can't go. And then there's somebody who comes up on their bike, and he's kind of looking, like letting people through, like, oh yeah, take your left turn, blah, blah, blah. I roll down my window, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm halfway through the crosswalk, and he's like, what? And I was like, oh, hi, it's Jess. Like, hey, how's it going? Because I knew this guy. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I know this guy. I see this guy every Sunday. I'm like, I know this guy. I'm pretty sure I know his name too. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm halfway through the crosswalk. And he's like, it's okay, I don't know the rules either. And I'm like, is he being kind of like that passive aggressive, I don't know the rules either? Or does he genuinely not know the biking rules and the right-of-way rules or anything like that? So I'm just questioning, and I'm driving, and I feel my heart racing. I feel it all throughout my body, and this feeling is so familiar to me when I feel like I'm doing an honest thing or being comfortable in myself. Just that act of rolling down the window and, oh, hey, I'm halfway through the crosswalk. Like, I know this guy. And he doesn't recognize me at all. And it was just like, not necessarily embarrassment, but like, not even that I did something wrong, but in my whole body, I feel this urge to cry. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And through counseling, I've learned when those emotions come up, feel them. So I'm trying to feel them, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I just want to ask myself, why do I feel this way, right? So I'm like, I'm feeling this, and I'm feeling it through my whole body. My whole body is feeling this, yes, embarrassment, yes, this, I could have done better, or I could have said something better, or I could have just been a better driver and could have avoided the whole interaction if I didn't pull halfway through the crosswalk, because we all do it. We all do it. I don't need to justify me going halfway through the crosswalk, because it happens so many times. There's so many times where I'm walking and someone's halfway through the crosswalk. It just happens, right? And it's fine. But then I'm like, you know what? It's not fine. Like, you could have done better. You could have avoided the situation. And just this, I don't know, my body almost just went into shock or just full on discomfort. So I had to ask myself, why am I feeling this way? What happened to me that has caused me to feel this intense feeling over something that is so minor? Like, one time I was telling a story to a guy who came to work. He was telling me how he bought this wetsuit at the thrift store in town, and he went into the river, and he's like, didn't work, I was still super cold, like it was free. Yeah, it's glacier water. Like, what a wetsuit is only gonna do so much, right? So I'm telling him, oh, you should do a sauna, and I'm kind of playing it off like I've done lots of saunas and stuff, but I haven't. And I accidentally misused the word. So like when you do a sauna, you basically you make a little shelter, however it is. You have tarps, and then you cover the tarp. So you have your shelter, tarp, sand, or tarp, sand, however you want to layer it so the heat stays in. Then you make a fire on the outside, warm up some rocks, and put the rocks in, and then you pour water on the rocks, and it creates a steam. So I accidentally said the word coals, and I'm like telling him about this, and he's like, yeah, that would be pretty dumb if you were to use coals because you just smoke yourself out. And he just walked away, and I was like, wow. I kind of felt embarrassed. Like, yeah, definitely that same feeling where I just overthought it. I overthought what happened. I was like, all I did was misspeak. And I'm like, yeah, but girl, you were playing it off like you do saunas all the time and you're this cool cat, just trying to be like, hey, you should have done this. Like, if you were worried about being cold, you should have had a sauna ready. Like, that's what you do. Like, you're swimming in a glacier water, right? I don't know. It's winter, right? Like, this was only a couple months ago. I woke up the next day still thinking about that incident. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I misspoke. I said one wrong word. And this guy, like, we're having a conversation. I said one wrong word. And he just, like, made me feel like an idiot and walked away. And I'm like, that's not on me. That's really not on me. That is on somebody else. And just how they chose to speak back to me. And that's a simple example. Like, I could name many other examples of times that this has happened in my life where I said something and I feel like for whatever reason I'm in the wrong, and I don't know what caused this. I remember, so I'm reflecting on this and what might have caused this. And I remember I was singing one time. I was a young girl. I was a really young girl, and I was singing out in public, just in a private space. And somebody had told me, they just came around the corner and they're like, you need to be more quiet. And I just looked horrified, just because I felt so good singing. It was in a hockey arena. It was in a tight little room. So not like a room, but where the locker rooms were. And I think my mom or my dad was playing hockey that night, and it was kind of, so all the sound echoed like if you're singing in the shower. And just the way that this grown man said that to me, just like, you need to be more quiet, and just looked at me, and just like a little girl just saying, I'm sorry, because I didn't know what I did wrong. I didn't know. I thought I sounded beautiful. And I'm like, is that the trauma? Is that the trigger response of me feeling confident and comfortable in myself, and somebody else almost making me feel ashamed or stupid in a way that I shouldn't feel because I didn't know? And it hits my whole body, and that's what I'm trying to question myself. And this hasn't happened before. I haven't actually asked the question, why does this happen? Because it happens frequently enough in my life. I wouldn't say every week or every month even, but often enough where I feel this full body overthinking of this small thing that it's like, I worked with somebody and he's like, why do you let stuff bother you so much? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's like, somebody called us out for having a drink at work, and you're still worked up about it. It's been a week. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of bothered by it. Like, it's just, and it's fine. It's because there's this whole rivalry. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, I did have a drink at work. I work in a liquor store. There's a lot of things that we try. And yes, we're sitting after we close the store, having a drink. Homeboy's waiting for us to deliver slips, all our closing slips. We were sitting having a drink, having a chat, having a good time. And he's waiting for these slips, and he called and tattled and snitched and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be upset. We're post hours. Sorry, we're 15 minutes late because we're chatting, because we weren't chatting on shift. Like, yeah, you have your little, hey, how's it going? Like, you tell little stories on shift, but post work, it's like working in a restaurant and you just have a drink after work because you're working in a bar or something like that. And it's like, little snitch, snitches get stitches. But homeboy just like lets it ride off, and I'm like, I wish I could do that. I just feel like I don't have that in me. So I had to really dig and do some thinking about it. And then I started talking to Levon about it, and he's got this little piece of plastic, and I don't even know what it is, but it's like this little piece of plastic and a second smaller piece and there's kind of like strings that go in and out on it. And he's like, Mom, smile. And I was like, what? He's like, I've got a camera, like, smile. So I smile, and I'm like, he's just the most beautiful soul that grounds me and reminds me, like, yeah, what I'm thinking about and overthinking about is nonsense. Honor the feelings that I had and that full body response. Breathe through that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm telling Levon, like, what I'm going through, because I was in silence. I was in shock. And I'm like, Levon, this is what's going on in my head right now. And he's just like, Mom, smile. I'm like, I love you. I love you so much. Yeah, I love that little. That might be my new intro, but I do love the hello, hi. So, yeah, that's something I'm definitely working through, just processing where that intense feeling comes from. But anyways, my name's Jess Marie. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully talk to you soon. That's not usually my closing outro, but this is also not my normal seating, or I didn't have my original intro, so just is what it is. Bye!